Broadcasting live from hazy Site B. It is I, the OGGM, and today I want to talk about Joe from Biggus Geekus and the fact that he is creating a new PDF virtual marketplace as competition for Drive-Thru Lulu and Itchy.io. And why is Joe doing this? And what is this project going to be called? And what are the goals? Let's talk about that. But first, shout out again to Joe and company from Biggus Geekus Productions for creating a new virtual marketplace for gamers. It is going to be called Big Geek Games Market, I believe. I will post a link down below. So in response to the recent wave of censorship and anger at the politics of Drive-Thru and One Bookshelf and Itch.io, several individuals were hemming and hawing, well, we should just make our own. My response was, no, yes, just make your product directly available through your Patreon or whatever. That way you don't have to deal with a middleman. But, some people don't want to, or don't have the time, or don't know how that works, or find it easier to work through a virtual market. So in response to the recent wave of controversial censorship on the parts of Drive-Thru and some of the things that Itch.io has said about certain creators, and the fact that these companies are all taking political stances, Biggus Geekus Productions is creating their own, which is going to hopefully be more neutral, less politically driven, and more driven by the, hey, let's just make money off of these guys, as a virtual marketplace should be. And so we will see what happens. Hopefully they can remain neutral. Hopefully they can be successful and prosperous. Competition breeds creativity. If Joe's project can become profitable enough and received enough that Drive-Thru and Itch.io might take notice. Now, obviously, this isn't going to happen all, overnight. It's going to take them months, if not years, to get things rolling, to create a profitable market, and to be a viable contender for Drive-Thru, Lulu, Itch.io, and the others. There are other virtual marketplaces besides Drive-Thru, DM's Guild. That's just the one you hear about the most. But there's Itch.io. I'd say they're number 2. There's Lulu. There's other One Bookshelf type things. But, Itch.io does a whole bunch of shit besides gaming related product. And One Bookshelf does a whole bunch of stuff besides gaming related product. And Lulu does a whole bunch of stuff besides gaming product. Drive-Thru is specifically gaming. DM's Guild is specifically gaming. So they're going to create a new virtual marketplace for PDFs where creators can post their stuff up and download and whatever else. I guess they'll eventually do POD and pay Joe and Biggus Geekus for the privilege of downloading the PDF from the marketplace, and then a percentage of whatever you pay will go to the artists that created the project. And I guess this all comes out of the current political stance that specifically Drive-Thru, but also Itch.io, have made regarding certain creators. And if you're not familiar with that, we've talked about it before. We've talked about it, my opinion, before. My opinion is, you know what? Your job is to make money. Your job is to not tell us you are pro pineapple on pizza or against pineapple on pizza. Your job is to simply make money. Now, if you're gonna censor Venger for creating a product that is pro pineapple on pizza, then you've also got to censor everybody else who made a product that is pro pineapple on pizza, and you've got to censor everybody who's made a product that is anti-pineapple on pizza. because you have to remain neutral. If they've all violated the S&P, then they should all be held to the same level. If you're just focusing on certain individuals because they have a history of being controversial, or you, the company, don't like their politics, that's not wrong. That's not right. That's wrong. Okay, you've got to be neutral. Everybody's got to be held to the same standards. And frankly, in my humble opinion, Drive-Thru's choice to censor Venger and the Red Room and others is a marketing mistake. You should be milking the fuck out of the fact this is controversial. Controversy breeds conversation. Controversy breeds competition. Controversy breeds commerce. You should be advertising the fuck that you have a product on your virtual marketplace by Venger that is controversial in his stance on anti-pineapple on pizza, and has our little adults only controversial label, knowing full well that the second you put that controversy label on any product, you increase the chances of that product selling 1,000-fold. Anybody who doesn't believe me, all you have to do is look at the digital media during the 90s, when they had the whole Tipper Gore, Nancy Reagan label thing on albums. Albums were labeled, starting of course with "Fuck the Police," for being controversial, for being, NC-17. And the goal was to warn parents and to warn people that these albums addressed a controversial nature that the fundamental Christian right of Tipper Gore and Nancy Reagan didn't agree with, felt it was a threat to our children and our mental health, and that you should avoid these albums. That was the point. That's not what happened. In fact, thanks to that label, many albums and many artists that would have gone unnoticed and unrecognized during this period of time instead made bank, because the controversial label attracted people to that product, and people bought it simply because they wanted to know why it was controversial. I worked at a record store. I've worked in the entertainment industry from the age of 16 to the age of, I don't know, when did I move here? 30? I know that those albums sold, and there are several gold albums and #1 songs from that time period that were only profitable and only successful because of that label. In fact, I knew bands that went out of their way to get the label. There was one band in where I lived back then, Studio City, local death metal band, whose lead singer was a homeless guy. And this homeless guy they would just let him wander around, and the band would sort of follow behind and record anything mentally unstable that he did, and then use it for their MTV videos, and to get the controversy label. And this guy walked into a store once and let his pants drop, and he got in trouble, and the band got in trouble because they were encouraging him. But you know what? That band's album sold because they were controversial. And there are dozens of rap bands and punk bands and heavy metal bands that got that label that ended up being way more successful than they would have without the label. So really, Drive-Thru should not be censoring Venger for being pro-pineapple on pizza. They should be milking the fuck out of the fact that Venger has created something they consider controversial, because it will guarantee sales. And I certainly hope Joe from Big Geekus is industry aware enough to know that if he's gonna carry product that somebody might deem controversial, he should milk the shit out of it. He should make sure people know that that product is controversial and does not reflect the beliefs of the company. Because I guarantee you, the second you do that, you will double sales, because people will be curious as to why it's controversial. It's just marketing 101. Controversy breeds creativity. Controversy breeds conversation. Controversy breeds commerce. People want to know why it's bad for them. So good luck to Joe and his friends and anybody else that has gotten behind him. I hope this is successful. I hope if I ever actually produce anything worth publishing, I can carry it and, you know, make a few dollars off of them. I support their desire and ability to make money off of their art. I support Venger Satanis's desire and ability to make money off of his art. Doesn't matter if I agree or disagree with his politics. He is a creator, and I want him to make money off of his creation, you know? So anyways, that's basically 11 minutes worth of nonsense for me to give a big shout out to check out Big Geekus Games and Big Geekus Games Market, and just to sort of think about, you know, if Venger's product is so controversial, maybe you should go over to Venger Satanis's site and see why it was so controversial. I don't know. Till next time, I'm the OGGM. If you appreciate the nonsense that's coming out of my mouth, let me know. If you think I'm an utter idiot who doesn't know what he's talking about, let me know. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Help me hit 1,000 subs, because I've got so many things I want to do. Till then, get off my land.